This is gonna have to get cut out. Just intro it properly, man.
Mike's on, yeah?
Yeah.
I look good though.
Do you reckon?
Nah, I actually don't say.
Right then, welcome back to XG Files. Got no Dre with us today.
It's 2 weeks in a row now. Where's he
2
gone?
weeks in a row. Shocking. All right.
I'm doing. Season's over in it, so I'm guessing I'm feeling slightly better. I think the end of the season was kind of better because Liverpool obviously didn't win a league when they thought they did. I don't know if I was watching the game and I saw there was an incident actually where they thought Villa scored again, but they didn't, and they all cheered.
Hugging in that.
Hugging in that. So that was amazing.
I can finish to that.
And then Arsenal also didn't get top four, which was also great. They come and join us in the Europa League next week. Not next week, but next year.
Yeah. We've still got the job to do. I mean, if Liverpool only finish with a League Cup and an FA Cup this year, straight 1993 Arsenal season, that's poetic.
For the best football team of all time, according to the media. To the point where they're even sending out tweets saying Liverpool would have won the league if it was based on aggregate scoreline.
Like,
they're trying their best.
I never see this for anyone else. Am I being wrong? I mean, is this me being like anti-Scouts with this, or does this only ever come up like these alternative league tables? Here's the combined league table the last 5 years. What relevance is that? We do a league table on a year-to-year basis.
It's got no relevance at all, but it's also one of them where
do it the last 30 years.
I've even seen Liverpool Twitter accounts kind of replying to it, saying, "Why has he done this? You're kind of inviting the hate." Even they're kind of thinking, "Yeah, that's a bit of overkill." But what makes you think? I think they even made an actual article on it saying Liverpool. This is kind of the breakdown of how Liverpool won the league. It was based on this, that, and whatever. Just trying the absolute best. I know Sky Sports are in tatters.
Yeah, they love the Scousers to win it. What's interesting, United and Liverpool, in the great rivalry with City that they've had, have actually finished second exactly the same amount of times as Liverpool have.
Repeat that. Do you just say Liverpool twice?
United have finished second.
Oh, you didn't say United.
The same.
Who gave you that metric?
Who gave me the metric? I know where we finished in the league.
In this great rivalry between them. I think they're talking about...
There's a great rivalry, right? Liverpool, here's the difference. Liverpool have won the league and City came second to them, right? But Liverpool have finished second as many times as Manchester United have to Manchester City in Klopp's reign. And no one's calling, obviously it was Ole and Mourinho that have finished second there, but no one's calling this United team contenders for fuck all, are they?
You know what it is? I think they're just trying to formulate this new rivalry between them because the United and Liverpool one's always one that's kind of embedded in history. But
United and Arsenal shared nine titles. We won 6, they won 3 in 9 years. Nobody else touched that trophy for 9 years. That was just us two, trading it back and forward between us and Arsenal. And when we won it, they came second, and when we came second, they won it.
I think it's more the fascination between Guardiola and Klopp. I think it's based on the performances between the two sides. I know you kind of mentioned what kind of skews it a little bit is how you said United have finished second the same amount of times as Liverpool have finished second behind City in Klopp's tenure, but that doesn't obviously include probably the instance where Liverpool won the title. And
you mean the one time?
Yes, and who was second? Was City second?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of flipped.
I mean, I did say that.
Yeah, you did, but you didn't. But
No,
I'm just giving it context. But
that's the only difference is if you're just talking about finishing second to City, United have finished second as much as Liverpool have. The one thing Liverpool have got outside of potentially 2 Champions League wins, which is irrelevant to the Premier League, is that they've actually won a title in this time as well.
And they can't really bring in the European dominance aspect of it because City haven't done that. So,
well, no one's done that.
they're trying to fabricate this rivalry, which isn't.
A Liverpool fan earlier today talking about how if Liverpool win the Champions League this weekend, which is, I would say, the favourites for it. If they win the Champions League this weekend, then they've surpassed what our treble team did because they only won 1. Now, they don't use this logic domestically ever because they don't retain their trophies.
Yeah.
But that treble team won 3 in a row and 3 trophies in one season. I can't believe they're even having this conversation, to be honest.
Nah, but they are desperately
with a straight face.
It's recency. It's recency bias, and it's one.
When did Chelsea win theirs? So they won one last year, obviously.
Yeah.
Was it 10 years prior to that for their other one? Because like Chelsea have won 2 Champions Leagues in an era, essentially. Yo, are they greater than anything Liverpool have done?
So what year was it when they beat Bayern? Because I remember the Drogba header.
Was it 2012?
I think it might be. So I think it might be a decade between them. I think you could literally just type in Google Chelsea's Champions League
I've got
titles.
honours. Hang on.
Yeah. We'll get it searched up.
2012, 2021.
So basically 10 years apart.
I'm not calling that the same team.
Nah, it's not, but back on it, it's I don't know. I thought because I'm sick of seeing it on Twitter, this kind of love affair when it comes to Liverpool. I've seen it throughout the season with VAR. They are favoured on all sorts of decisions. Everything's kind of tailored towards them on Sky Sports News. It's just kind of, I don't think
Scouse was on Sky Sports News.
I don't remember ever seeing it like this when United were doing well. And
it wasn't like this.
And the thing is,
everyone was anti-United.
But it can actually end up with Klopp's whole tenure only having one Premier League title as well, with him being this kind of transcendent manager that's kind of changed football as we know it and basically revolutionised the Gurgen press or whatever that they're doing.
Same amount of titles as Ranieri and Dalglish. And Pellegrini.
It's insane, isn't it? But
and people want to put him on the same pedestal as as Pep. And no. And people want to put him on the same pedestal as Sir Alex. No. And when they want to try to bring trophies...
They're so desperate for it. I showed you... I did send it to Steve. There was a tweet that he put straight after Liverpool won the FA Cup saying that Klopp was like the first manager since Fergie to win
everything.
In the same tenure. And then they deleted it, so I'm guessing it was wrong.
So Ronaldo sent me this yesterday and said, tweet this, right? And I don't normally do tweets like this. Jesus did it bang.
It banged.
Jesus did it bang.
It still it banged.
So it's actually trending on Twitter this morning.
Biggest regressor is actually what's...
Yeah, was the word. And I've actually seen, and we've definitely going... So you added the unsung and biggest regressor.
Yeah.
This template was already out there for the rest of them, but you've added regressor and unsung hero because I guess that's relevant to us as United fans.
Yep.
We're definitely going to see other clubs tweeting this. I've seen City fans using this template.
Yeah.
And that's what I think it was trending for on Twitter because biggest regressor was what was the phrase for tweeting.
Yeah, the reason why I did biggest regressor because I thought it was necessary for so many players within the squad.
Yeah, because it's not just like someone regressed. It was like who regressed the
most? Like who's? It's almost like there's flop of the season on that, but I think biggest regressor has a little bit of a different element to it, and I think it's just and I thought it'd have the biggest divide in terms of opinion. I know people, because there's so many underperformers.
Oh, there's been so many. So there was 1,300 replies. There was 400 at time of recording quote retweets. It's done 1.3 million impressions, that tweet, which is bonkers. But we did get some brilliant responses to it. And then that sparked off all of those arguments. The reason we were talking about Liverpool this morning is because literally Scousers are in the comments of it. Because it went so wide. Yeah. There's just been so many people dive in on it. So let's do ours then.
Yep.
Player of the season.
Player of the season.
It's not even hard. Come on.
It isn't hard because I'm gonna go for Cristiano Ronaldo. It was between him and David De Gea, but I know that David De Gea has a lot of haters, and he doesn't have that many admirers. Obviously, because he's shot stopping, but he's got limitations when it comes to his ball play and his distro and his command of the box and all that, which I do agree with. I think some of that is a problem. I've been watching other keepers recently and thinking, De Gea wouldn't do that. De Gea wouldn't do that. So I am a little bit on board with that.
Leave his box.
Yeah, but I'm appreciative of him keeping us in a lot of games this season. But you can't go beyond Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of being player of the season because of his goal contributions. And it's not just that; it's often when he scored them. I think there was a string early in the season where anytime United needed a goal to either save a game or to win a game, whether that be Champions League or the Premier League, Ronaldo got us out of the mud. And that's a 37-year-old man who obviously isn't the same player.
38 now, isn't he? Is it 38?
He's going to be turning 38. Or it might be 38 already. Nah, he's 37 because he's born in 85. But he's definitely. I think the goals that he scored, the goals that he's amounted. Was he third in the goal scoring chart? So was someone above him last time I checked. at that age is insane. And he's overall return in terms of the games he's played as well. You can't look
not
past
won a
him.
game that he didn't play in.
Something along them lines. There was also a period in the season where I think he scored like 8 of our last 9 goals or something.
Yeah, the back end of the season, without him, we were just dead. And I think that was as much to do with him as it was to do with everybody else in the squad, because there was just no one available. Though people have given Ralph a little bit of stick for the back end of the season, and we've been shit, no two ways about it. But he's had 10, 11 fit players. That's it. That is it. So player of the year for me, yeah, I'm going with that, mate. I'm going with Cristiano Ronaldo. There is nobody else.
I was literally going to ask you, Steve, you're going to say Cristiano Ronaldo, but is there anyone else in with a shout?
No.
Anyone that's had...
I'd even go less on, like you obviously throwing De Gea in there, that's fine. But I don't agree. I think we saw those metrics from March. He's only Mendy, who completely fell off a cliff, has got a worse save percentage than him. Every other shot that goes at De Gea goes in. That's not his norm. His norm's more like 70-ish%. Mendy's at one point was in the 90s percentage.
So what you're telling me is that De Gea was performing at such an insane shot-stopping pace that you couldn't sustain?
No, because it wasn't actually insane. It was good, but it wasn't insane. I don't think it was top 5 in the league.
Well, I saw that he was outperforming his XG expected against by nearly 11 goals. I'd say that's pretty insane.
Has he? I'll check into that.
I'll check, because I remember doing the metrics for you, innit?
Yeah, I don't think it's 11. I'd be shocked if it is 11.
It was like around 9. It was much more. It was the biggest disparity in the league by miles out of any performing keeper.
Right. Well, I think recency bias is a thing, and that's perhaps why you see a lot of what you see with Liverpool and City at the moment. But when it comes to player of the year, I don't care what you did in December, really. We should. Yeah. But it has less impact in your mind, and I think the way the season's finished with not just De Gea, but all of them. Yeah.
That's the mentality in sports, though. It's what you've done for me lately, innit? That's just...
What have you done for me lately?
That's exactly what it is.
Flop of the season.
This is the harsh one, isn't it? I'm going Harry Maguire as flop of the season because he was at fault and errors for many goals. Funnily enough, when he's been out of the team recently, United haven't necessarily been better defensively, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that he was at fault for a number of the goals earlier on. I think it was his lack of leadership. I think it was the kind of arrogance that he exuded, where he seemed like he felt like he was above reproach. A lot of the season, he didn't really show any accountability.
The accountability and lack of ownership was the thing that really got my
the whole PR stuff that he was doing, the whole getting his agents to reach out to people to stop critiquing him. It's just reeked of a man that's not improving his game when he's in a bad run of form or not responding well to adversity because he's unable to kind of take it on the chin. Do you know what I mean? I think in his head, he's still got people around him close to him. You're not actually doing that bad. It's unfair. And then if you're not going to be taking that criticism, you're not going to be able to improve. And that's what we kind of saw with Maguire. And I just think where United want to be and want to go, he's not been great. And I think people haven't spoke about how much of a disappointment he's been in terms of the opposition box as well when he was meant to be a goal threat in that instance.
Maguire and set pieces and headers has always been something that's a little bit of a disappointment since he came to United. There's almost been non-existent from him this season, maybe noticeably so. Maybe it'd be different if you did have. That's what I was talking about. Go back. If I don't know where it cut to be. So
yeah, I think that's why I think you just start. Wait, I think you were completely fine where you started there.
I think he's had disappointing return in terms of his set piece output at United. Maybe it'd be different if you had someone else that you could alternate with and mix it up and go with him one week, him the other week, because it's very easy to clock when it's just one of them. But that's not really been the major disappointment for him this season. I think what you were talking about when you said about his accountabilities, when you talk about the way he talks as a captain, some of the other stuff that's happened and some of the performances, some of his individual performances have been so error-strewn, so just indefensible from a technical defending point of view.
And even the stuff that you used to mention last season, that's kind of filtered into this season, where we've noticed Maguire's completely outlandish mistakes and ones that have led straight to chances and goals, or just being out of position, being slow on the turn. We're not on about little small details. That's wrong with his distribution as well. how often did you always used to say about Maguire, when he's passing to fullbacks, he's passing behind him. When he's passing to midfielders, he's passing wrong side. When he's trying to pass through the lines, he's lifting his passes, he's bobbling it in. I don't think people talk about how often Maguire does do hospital passes, actually.
No, I think,
Do you know what I mean?
I like Marum, so this isn't an attack on Marum, and you're a fucking idiot if you take it that way, but I thought her interpretation of the data surrounding Maguire and Shaw was incorrect. That's just my opinion. Maguire is a progressive fullback, and I think Maguire is a progressive centre-half, and I think me and Joe did something on this the other day, and I talked Joe through into agreeing with me, essentially. And I said, right, okay, so you're a Manchester United defender. You play on the left side of defence. You can be my right defender if you want. You can be Lindelof over around whatever you feel like. You've got Wan-Bissaka on the other side of you. We've got De Gea behind us. And as United come to play out, he can pass to me or you, yeah? We've both got probably similar abilities on the ball. If he goes to you, what's your next move?
If I'm fullback or centre-half?
You're centre-half. You're the right side centre-half. I'm the left side centre-half. I've got Shaw. You've got Wan-Bissaka.
If he passes to me, I'm obviously going to look straight ahead to see if he can pass into midfield. If
you
not,
can't, because it's Fred and McTominay, so they're hiding behind the forwards.
Oh, so the only pass option is to Wan-Bissaka or Delo.
Right. So when you pass it to Wan-Bissaka, what happens most of the time?
He loses the ball, or teams leave him with the ball.
Yeah, or he's a pressing trigger.
The thing is, Wan-Bissaka's a pressing trigger. Yes, he is, but quite often in teams have been in, the pass to the fullback is always a pressing trigger.
Yeah,
for any pressing team. Yeah.
So if you're a United defender, you know that if I play it to the right and it goes to Wan-Bissaka, the chances of us getting over the halfway line are not good, would you say?
No.
So you're going to lean towards going left. You go left, you go to Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's going to give it to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw will be at a 45-degree angle, generally, to where Maguire is. And because the pass has moved more than 5 yards forward, the length of that pass gets added to Harry Maguire's expected threat or his progression, right? As that metric. What that metric never takes into account is, did he pass to him back foot or front foot? Did he have to turn for it? Did he have to move on to it? It never took into account how many touches he took before he played that ball. It never took into account, the reliability of that ball. Was it a ball he could control? Was it the correct decision at the time? Was he double marked when he passed it? It takes into account nothing of that. It goes, ball moved forward.
For example, when against Liverpool, when Maguire's hit that lofted crap ball to Hannibal.
Hannibal's lost it.
Hannibal's lost it. So that's going to be put down as Maguire completing like a 25-yard long ball across the pitch. That Hannibal's then lost.
Hannibal then gets a dispossessed stat against him.
But because when we talk about possession football or anything, when you're trying to progress the ball at pitch, United have struggled with. Those pass details from your defenders are so important. If you're passing in front, it's like little intricate details that matter in terms of allowing someone like Luke Shaw to step forward half a second quicker rather than you passing it behind them or giving a shit ball. They've got to take one or more 2 touches to kind of slow it down. I often see that when Maguire does ball playing and he passes to teammates.
At our level, which is light years away from Premier League level, there's things that they do that I kick off about. That if our team did, you hear me shout at you. Not checking your shoulder. I mean, I was saying that to you last week. Standing behind you, you didn't check me, you didn't see me. The direction of the pass being in front of the player, we got being on the back foot. We talk about that all the fucking time. And receiving flat-footed. These are things that United backline does consistently. They don't check the shoulder. They're often passing it to the back foot, making them come back. And that's literally one of our pressing triggers as well. If we was playing against United, that touch towards your own goal is a pressing trigger. A bad touch is a pressing trigger. And anytime someone looks down is a pressing trigger. Those are our 3 pressing triggers. That's it. Or it's someone that we identified as the worst player on the team. That's our 4 triggers. That's what we're looking for to try and get the ball back off you. And
it probably the likes of Maguire and Wan-Bissaka have been pressing triggers, but that sounds to me like you're agreeing with me about flop of the season. Or have you got someone different actually in mind?
I think Marcus. I think it's worth mentioning.
So you think Marcus Rashford, potential flop of the season.
Yeah, I didn't agree with.
Is that because of expectation of him as well?
Both.
Yeah.
I think his performances have warranted that. I didn't agree with getting surgery after the Euros. I thought you get the surgery and you figure yourself out. Obviously, he didn't have a pre-season. I don't think his performances, can be attributed to a lack of pre-season. He's just been almost a waste of a shirt. Now, so many of our comments are going to be saying, get him sold. Well, I disagree with that. And I'll tell you why. Any player that plays with a broken back for this football club gets a pass for me. They can get one. You can't indefinitely just accept poor performance from someone.
You can't, yeah.
And it's been an objectively, provably poor performance from Marcus. It's not been helped by Jadon's performance on the left, which has moved him over to the right, so he's not in his usual position. But you got to cut your cloth. You got to play with the cards you've been dealt. He's playing well. You're not. You're the one that needs to get your game back up to scratch. We're not going to sacrifice him.
That's the insane part of it. Jadon Sancho has had good spells this season, but it's not like he's had a great season either.
No.
And he's still been able to be better than Rashford's performed. Yeah. And then you've also got Alanga, who doesn't have the same amount of ability as Rashford, starting over in week in, week out. So that is a bigger indictment, because we saw the limitations of Alanga. So we've seen that as being a bigger indictment on Rashford.
People earlier in the season, do you remember saying about where I said attitude's more important than ability? I think that's why Alanga's found himself in the team at the moment. Because ability-wise, you can't compare Marcus and Alanga. It's night and day different. But attitude and the form that they find themselves in, the confidence they find themselves in, that's night and day as well. Yeah. And Alanga's forced his way in there on work rate. And that should tell everyone that's the frustrating thing about this team, is because there's so many players that if they just up their work rate would be better players. Cristiano Ronaldo potentially being one of the prime examples of that. He was a talented player that worked well. Now he's the most goal scoringest player of all time. That's something that some players can achieve, but they have to start with hard work. The fact that he's lost his place to Alanga, the fact that Jadon Sancho came in, overshadowed him, his surgery, I assume, went well. I've not heard different, but the recovery's just been non-existent. Now, like I said, you play with a broken back for the club, you get a pass. But you're going to have to use that pass. He needs to have the best pre-season. I won't even think about going on holiday. I would say my career has to come first at the moment, because it's at a real crossroads. I'll go away with a weekend with the missus, yeah? Let's have a break, get away from it for a fucking long weekend. Go Thursday to Monday, right? But I've got to come back and I've got to do a pre-season. I know several of the United first team players that are doing pre-seasons, and I like that. I'm sure you'll see it on social media when it happens. It's not for me to put it out there for them. But there's players that are going to be doing pre-seasons, and I love that. If I'm Marcus, I do a pre-season. I maybe go to America, like he's a Nike athlete. Go to Oregon, go to their track and thingy. He's been there before. Go to Oregon and go and spend a bit of time there. Work with their sports science department and athletic department, and get fit as fuck. So when pre-season starts for Ten Hag, you look sharp as a tack. You come back and he goes, he's on it.
This has to happen, because this might be Rashford's biggest and most important season of his career.
If he comes out of the gate...
Because of the World Cup as well.
Yeah, if he comes out of the gate shooting, boom, 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 and on fire and fucking running through brick walls and scores a few, people will be like, he's back. And the crowd will jump back on him.
It's make or break, man.
It really is. If it's not, if he plays the next 6 weeks like the last 6 times he played, there will be a lot of fans go, I'm fucking done with him. Now, I'm a bit closer, so I'm always going to have a little bit more sympathy for him and hope that he's going to get there and give him a little bit more time. But being real, it's in his hands. If he comes out of the gate 6 weeks, puts 4 or 5 goals in, has a couple of good performances, bleeds for the cause, you'll win the fans back. The bulk of the bell curve of the fans are fickle, and they'll follow. They'll jump straight back on you, and they'll be all about you like they never fucking called you Trashford, right? But if it doesn't, if it goes the other way and it's 6 weeks like we've just seen the season finishing, I'm not sure you'll win it back.
This is what's crazy though about the decline of Marcus Rashford that we've seen from him, because 2-3 years ago, He was of the ilk of the likes of Mbappe. He was literally neck and neck between who's the better player between him and the two next big.
Yeah, we're patting him on the head and stuff like that.
Inverted forward wingers in European football. Well, and now look at the trajectory that each career has taken. Mbappe's gone that way. Rashford's gone that way. Mbappe is now the CEO of PSG. He's now the CEO of PSG, the sporting director, the manager, and the player of a football club. And Rashford isn't. Well, obviously Rashford's not that level, but it's just showing the disparity between where both teams have gone, where both players have gone in their careers.
Most improved player.
Most improved player was the one that I was proper thinking on, because there's not that many to choose from. It's actually insane. I think there's a player that might have had a chance to get there if they're allowed to continue playing. But it might have to be Fred. I might have to have a shout. Fred hasn't been amazing this season, but he probably had... you know what it is? It's because he had such a low floor. He had a low floor to rise from. And he showed an improvement in his game when he was moved further forward. And his goal scoring and assist output has shown an increase as well. He's actually shown that there might be a little bit of a player there if he's played as an 8. So I think he might be in a shout for most improved player because there's not really any other option.
I would say he was the only player that improved under Ten Hag. Sorry.
Under Ragnick.
That improved under Ragnick, yeah. And outside of him, who improved?
That has also it's a major talking point of Manchester United, that how many players have come to United in recent years and actually kicked on and improved as players. That is usually what big clubs are meant to entail. You go there, you kick on, and then you become a better player.
Yeah, there's better players around you, better facilities, better opportunities, bigger stage. You now assume that level.
United just regress because now, like, you're stuck for choice. Who's actually been the most improved player at Manchester United? From when I've seen what people have been tweeting, I thought Fred was probably the better shout. I think you'd be surprised.
Well, let's read some of your comments, actually. So we've had Fred, we've had Fred, we've had Alanga, but I think Alanga only basically got his debut under Rangnick anyway, so I don't know if you can call that improved. Fred, Alanga, Fred,
saw a few Lindelofs,
Fred.
Surprisingly.
A couple of flops of the season being Varane, Fred. De Gea most improved.
No way.
All right, before we go any further, Ronnie, I want to talk to you about balls.
Talk to me then.
I'm going to talk to you about balls, Ronnie. This summer, the sun is shining, shirts are off, and your balls are smooth. And you heard that right. Your friends at Manscaped are here to make sure your beach balls are smooth as Floridian sand. I don't like that, Reed. I don't like Florida. In summer, you want to kill some cold beers and barbecues and not kill the vibe with your pubes sticking out of your swimming trunks. And that's why Manscaped has got the Performance Package 4.0 to keep your party and your pants looking crisp and refreshing all summer long. Dive headfirst into summer by joining the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and have got ready for hot guy summer by going to manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. Just use the code XG20. And listen, I could go into all the details about everything, and we really could, and you know all about that. But what we really want to do is talk to you about this. This, Ronnie, is the Weed Whacker. I'll let you have a go there. There's one.
I'm not going to do this live on camera.
Yeah, you might want to turn it off as well because the noise might be annoying down the mic.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's what's going on. Manscaped have gifted us a Weed Whacker, which is an ear, nose, hair trimmer, and we're giving it away. All you got to do is tag, like, and follow in the competition over on my Instagram. That's at Mr. Stephen Howson. If you don't follow me on there already, all you need to do is like the post, follow Manscaped, tag my account, and tag some friends in the comments, and we'll pick someone to win it. Each individual comment classes as one entry, so the more comments that you do, the more times that you can enter. So head over there and get involved. Sound like a plan? We're giving away one of these. Right then, biggest regressor.
You didn't name your flop of the season.
My most improved?
Most improved.
I'll go with Fred.
Go with Fred.
I'll go with Fred.
There's literally no other choices there.
No. That's the problem with United this season. It's so predictable.
It's like best of the worst, isn't it?
Right. Biggest regressor.
biggest regressor. There's two options here. It's either Rashford for all the reasons we've just mentioned, or it's Bruno Fernandes. And it's similar to the Fred one, but the opposite way around. As Bruno set such lofty standards when he first arrived in his first season, he hasn't hit those anywhere near this season. His output has fell off in goals and assists, and so has his performance. To say that Bruno's not regressed would be lying this season, because he has. And his form's got incrementally worse. And
his form has got worse, but he's still scored and assisted.
He's still scored and assisted, but it's biggest regressor. So to regress, it's got to be, the starting points are different. It's not really a fair kind of award, but it's.
So you're going with Bruno?
I'm going with Bruno because, as I've mentioned time and time again, Bruno did come to United as someone that was known for having issues with his ball retention.
Okay,
you know what I mean? So
you go with Bruno. I think I would agree that Bruno has regressed. I think he has gone backwards. The reason I can't give it Bruno is he's the most creative player in the Premier League, factually.
Yeah.
And if people were putting his chances away, we'd be talking about Bruno having 25 assists or more. So I can't give it Bruno. Luke Shaw's getting mine.
Ooh, that's a shout. That's a shout.
He's getting mine because last season, Luke Shaw, Shawberto Carlos, remember that fucking thing that used to fill up my inbox, right? Anytime that he did something.
Here comes Steve's. I was right all along speech. Go on.
I was right all along. In 8 years, he's had 6 good months, and you fuckers bought it hook, line, and sinker.
You were on him early though.
You're like an abused wife or husband, because husbands get abused as well. You are like an abused spouse. There you go. Spousal abuser, like one of those. Objection hearsay, right? You are like one of those fellas. Oh, he can change. He can good. So I just overcooked his steak, and sometimes he doesn't like it like that. So of course he hit me in the face. Like, this is what it's like, Luke Shaw. You buy his shit. You buy that he's going to change every fucking summer, that he's going to get fit, that he's going to stop fucking Deliveroo's 14 times a day. But he doesn't. He's had 6 good months in fucking 8 years. 8 years of being a Manchester United player. You've never seen him face the opposition when a cross is in. You've never seen him fucking actively track someone that's going in there. You see him being half decent in possession between the 2 boxes, but you don't see him penetrate into the opposition box. He hasn't done that since he broke his leg, by the way. That's literally how he broke his leg, was penetrating into the box.
That's insane.
Hasn't done that since.
That's insane.
Right? The apologists for Luke Shaw are fucking ridiculous. Tellers is also pretty ordinary.
Yeah, he is.
This isn't me sitting here saying Tellers is the fucking actual Shawberto Carlos. He's pretty ordinary as well. It's a low fucking bar. Brandon Williams and Ethan Laird could come in here and smack around our fullbacks and it not be a fucking mad thing.
I think biggest regressor being Luke Shaw is actually quite a big shout, because
last season he was like player of the year or attempted player of the year, or people talking an absolute madness, talking about him being world class, which makes me want to throw up.
The thing is with Luke Shaw is that he struggles with the opposite, and that's progressing as a player. So that's actually a large part of it, because he doesn't seem to have the heart, he doesn't seem to have the motivation. And I've always said Luke Shaw is a footballer who plays because he can and not because he wants to. And that's the impression I get from him.
He's played for 7 years post his leg operation after his broken leg, which was tragic, right? And it hit him at a fucking real pivotal point in his career. I'm sure it took him a long time to get back to that mentally. And it definitely set back his ability as well. He was flying when that happened. He was flying. He had a real good partnership going with Memphis, and both of them fell off a cliff following that. He chose to get the pins taken out of his leg, like right now, when we're short of players. He could have waited till the end of the season. I didn't like that. You've gone for 7 years. You could wait 2 more weeks, couldn't you?
Could have waited 2 more weeks, but...
Let's be honest, you're not doing it on the fucking NHS either, are you?
No, he isn't. Biggest regressor, Luke Shaw. That's a shout. What's the next one? Unsung Hero.
Unsung Hero. Who's yours? I think it's 2 names in my mind.
2 names. Unsung Hero. Do you know what? I'm gonna go for a Langer. Okay. Not for his production, just for him actually being a bit of a breath of fresh air from the kind of toxic, too good to work hard, egotistical vibes you get from the rest of the players. So I'll go for him.
I'm going to give a joint award for Unsung Hero.
I think I know who you're going to give it.
Who do you think I'm giving it to?
Ragnick.
Nope. Matic and Mata. They were forgotten. Someone found them in a cupboard at Carrington. And without them, like, I'm not gonna. It was a pretty bad end to the season. Imagine how bad it would have been without them.
Because they've had to come in at a time where we've not really had players, and we've not had players before.
Outside of Ronaldo, no one else has put in like man of the match performances except Matic and Mata towards the end of the season. Would you agree?
Absolute joke. Turmoil. You're actually right. Turmoil.
So, unsung hero, Matic and Mata, farewell, I think, to both of those guys. Been fantastic footballers, probably better at Chelsea, the both of them. But two top Premier League players that shown what they could do and shown up some of these so-called first-team players.
I think we probably agree. And on the last one, though, signing the season, I think we both agree on that because I think it's going to be the same as the top one. There's actually two options for signing the season.
It's Sancho or Ronaldo.
No, it's Ronaldo or Ten Hag.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah.
Yeah. For all the things we've already said about Ronaldo.
Actually, on the unsung hero, Garnacho. Under-18s Player of the Year, top scorer in the FA Youth Cup, delivered a little bit of silverware to Old Trafford this year. It wasn't the ones we wanted, but it was silverware, and it does matter, and it's very important for the traditions and history of this football club. So I'm giving a triple award out for Unsung Hero, Matic, Mata, and Garnacho. Sign of the season then? You saying Ronaldo?
It's either going to be Ronaldo or Ten Hag. Obviously, Ten Hag's not walked through the door yet, but...
Not done anything yet.
Just been, obviously...
Just done an interview and bought a snazzy.
Yeah, but he's won the Eredivisie for us, and...
Which shows that we haven't won that before.
I think the only English team to ever win it.
We are the only English team to ever win it, yeah.
So it's either him, but it's going to be Ronaldo. Signing the season, because without him, God knows where he would have been.
I think Sancho being in the mix is only for what he's going to bring in the future. He had a passable season this season. It started off really ordinary, questionable at first, a little bit of banter about what he'd done, which I'm not saying about Jack Grealish or Lukaku. But I think he grew into being a United player, settled in quite nicely. You've got to remember, this is a kid who'd never played Premier League football before, which is hard for a lot of people to take because he's English. But he'd never played Premier League football before. It's a fact. So his first Premier League season, acceptable. Can we kick on? Because we know that he's got the ability to. So I would say it's got to be Ronaldo, and for all the other reasons. But I think Sancho is certainly one for the future. And obviously, if you want to go and have a check out of that, it's on my profile from yesterday morning. So go and check it out and get involved. Like I said, you may already have seen it because it's done a fucking madness. But that's what me and Ronnie think.
And I'm sure they'll let us know what we think. I think we'll pin that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll pin the link to it, and I'll also copy and paste the blank one in there.
Pin it in the comments.
You can comment yours as well. If you didn't put it on Twitter, throw it in the comments, and we'll see what you guys think in that as well. But if you want to get involved, there'll be a post on Instagram for you to go and check out for that one. As you're watching this, I'm probably right at the overlap right now, so I'll probably do a couple of Instagram stories from there for whoever is on the overlap with us. So if you want to go and check out what I'm doing over on Instagram and win one of these, Mr. Stephen Howson on Instagram. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to Manscaped. XG20 is the code. 20% off and free shipping. You know you need to buy one, and you know you sort your spuds out for the summer. And we will see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.